Because it doesn't deliver what they promised us, Gloria, at the last general election. The Tories stood on a clear promise to build a new line across the north of England, a crossrail for the north, if you like. And what they came back with was half a line. And I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. You know, you can't chop a city like Bradford, which you know well, completely out of the modern rail system. London doesn't get treated in that way. So why should we? We shouldn't have to choose between a good north-south line and a good east-west line. We deserve both if we're going to have modern infrastructure here that sets us up for the 21st century. So I'm saying to these two leadership candidates, and I've written to them today with the other mayors across the north, sit down with us when you win, if you win. Let's talk about the plans for railways in the north of England. Stick to your manifesto, deliver what you said you would, and we will support you.
Liz Truss, she looks likely to be our next Prime Minister, and she has committed to building Northern Powerhouse rail in full. That must have been music to your ears.
It was when I heard it, and it sounds really encouraging, and I really hope she means it, because obviously I will work with any politician, Gloria, that is committed to investing in the north of England and levelling us up with the south. And if Liz means it, then that is genuinely a breakthrough, and it's good news. So I hope it's true. What we get, though, is the government calling half a line between Manchester and Leeds Northern Powerhouse Rail, and that isn't what we were promised. It's not what Boris Johnson promised when he stood in front of Stephenson's rocket when he became Prime Minister. It's not what George Osborne promised when he first floated the idea of a Northern Powerhouse almost 8 years ago in Manchester. So we've been waiting a long time. The Tories have made a lot of false promises to the north of England. If Liz means it, that is clearly good news.
Just want to talk to you about the row brewing in the Labour Party too. The Labour leader, Keir Starmer, made clear this week that the Labour Party in opposition needs to be the Labour Party in power, and the government wouldn't go on picket lines. With that in mind, he had no choice but to sack the frontbencher Sam Tarry, who defied him, did he?
Well, I don't know all the details, Gloria, because I was told it was for something said in an interview. Rather, I don't know, so I don't know what the reasons. But I just think Labour needs to be careful here. We can't ever be a party that undermines working people fighting to protect their incomes in a cost of living crisis. And if we're not careful, that's how we might come over. I think there's a real issue out there now for people in terms of wages and the energy bills that keep rising. People are going to have to fight to protect their incomes, and Labour should be supporting people to protect their incomes.
Some people in the Labour Party think the Labour Party would be doing much better if you were leading it.
Well, I'm here, and obviously I've tried twice, Gloria, as you know, and that didn't work. And I think I've found kind of my place, if you like, in terms of speaking for Greater Manchester and the North. And I'm kind of happy in what I'm doing here, and I kind of feel a bit more liberated being out of Westminster and the kind of system down there, and maybe hopefully with the other mayors adding something positive to the way things are. So no, people I'm afraid are stuck with me here because I'm going to serve a full second term in Greater Manchester. I want to do what I can to bring forward the prospect of a Labour government. What I'm worried about is we've got a leadership election here where both contenders are saying they're going to be Thatcherite, low tax, small state. Well, I'm sorry, but Mrs. Thatcher was not good for the north of England. And it may not please some of your viewers to hear that, but I think we were levelled down in the 1980s. In fact, I'm sure of it because I lived here and I saw it. So I'm not happy about hearing two candidates saying they're going to be Thatcherite and deregulatory and low tax, because it wasn't good for us in the past and it wouldn't be good for us in the future. So I want to see a change of government. That's why I want to see Labour win the next election. But I think it's got to step forward now and support working people in this cost of living crisis. And if it does, I think the country will be ready for a change.
And you mentioned the cost of living. It's obviously the biggest issue on everyone's minds. Centrica, which owns British Gas, they've announced that profits have surged fivefold today. What's your reaction to that? What should the government do about that, if anything, this private company?
Do you know what, Gloria? I had to read the figures twice to actually believe that those were the numbers. And Shell as well. It's not just Centrica. Shell, I think, recording record profits. They give us this thing, don't they, that when oil prices go up, they don't actually benefit because they just pass it on and there's no change. Does anyone believe that? Does anyone in this country believe that? Looking at these profits from Centrica and Shell today, I think we now need to hear from these two people who want to be our Prime Minister what they are going to do about this on day one. Are they going to let households be hit with bills that could get up to £500 a month? We've had some action, but it's nowhere near enough. So I want to hear much more from them on that very issue. What are they going to do to cap these excessive profits? What are they going to do to help people afford their bills? What are they going to do about the crisis in the National Health Service? That's also another issue that needs much more attention. So these are the things that are on my mind at the moment, Gloria. I don't think they've had a proper airing in this leadership election yet. Hope they will. But I also want the two candidates to tell me directly, will they sit down with me and other northern mayors and agree a better way forward for rail investment in the north of England? Because we haven't got what we were promised at the moment. So these are the issues I think need to be resolved as this leadership election progresses.